Well, another thing that just damaging blow to the reputation of Israel and the United States as well is Israel. I don't know if you've seen this. Just terminated the agreement with UNRWA.
Yeah.
Can you tell me why they did that and what are the consequences for the Palestinians, first of all?
Oh yeah, well, because UNRWA is the reason that most Gazans are still alive today. I mean, UNRWA feeds them, cares for them, provides them with shelter, with medical care. Such, limited medical care, because again, all the hospitals have been destroyed in Gaza by the Israelis. But it's just like the last institution standing between really total starvation and the Gazans right now.
So how dire is this? I mean, you're saying
it's already dire. It's just, it really means just a faster genocide. I don't know what to say. It's horrible beyond belief.
Well, so do you think we'll start to see mass starvation in the near future if UNRWA is completely cut off? I mean, how does aid get
I think
into...
we're seeing it now. It's just it's going to speed up, accelerate, I don't see how that can be avoided.
Well, the Biden administration a couple of weeks ago said that if Israel doesn't allow more humanitarian aid in within a month, and that they would consider cutting off supplies. It seems like just this move here is the Israelis said, okay, you told us to let in more humanitarian aid, now we're cutting off all humanitarian aid.
Right.
That's the response.
Yeah.
And what is the U.S. going to do?
Nothing.
We'll do nothing, right?
Right. Nothing.
It's such a pathetic...
The whole thing was, that was just a show. There was never any substance to that. Can't believe that threat by the U.S.
I just can't believe that we keep on saying these things, and we allow it, especially what's happening here in Gaza. It's not like it's some natural disaster and bad things are happening. It was unavoidable. We're just watching it happen for over a year now. Just keep on going, and now we're talking about starving them because Israel has declared that some UNRWA members are Hamas members. Can you talk about that at all?
That was a claim that was made, at least half a year ago. And immediately, several Western European countries and the U.S. cut off aid to UNRWA. And then an investigation was done, and there was just nothing to it. The Israeli claims were false. And they lied, as they do again and again. Now, I believe that all the Western European countries that had cut off aid to UNRWA have reestablished that aid. I think the U.S. still, I may be wrong. Maybe they've started making payments again, but I think that they have not yet reversed the decision, even though it's been the Israeli claims have been shown definitively to be false.
About that humanitarian pier that we built as well to help them out too. It's just,
that was just a joke. I've never made a bit of sense to me. It's just a little comic relief,
Since October 1st, when Iran first struck Israel, have we seen sort of an increase in the acceleration of the genocide? I feel like there's been this problem in Gaza that we've just been stuck at this number of like 45,000 for months now. And I think the reason is because there's no more hospitals or infrastructure left to do the accounting. So it's just frozen. Right. So we don't know.
These families, when the family member is severely injured or whatever, they don't, or has been killed. It used to be they could take the body to the morgue, take the injured family member to the hospital, and there maybe the family member would die and the death would be recorded. There aren't even any hospitals to take them to. That doesn't even take into account all the bodies that are under the rubble. They haven't been able to, they don't have the equipment to actually remove the rubble and find, what's under there. But there's certainly many, many, many bodies under there. So that figure is got to be just a fraction of the real one. And then again, we're not talking about indirect deaths at all. people that have died of disease and so on and so forth. Those kind of people are not included in the figures at all.
What's just so shocking to me is that this genocide is the most documented genocide of all time.
Yeah.
Yet we have many, obviously the Israelis deny the accusations of genocide. Many people in the United States
Well,
do.
some of them celebrate it. Let's be honest. They don't all deny it. I mean, when they're talking to the U.S., they deny it, but among themselves, they often celebrate it. They know what they're doing. It's not a secret within Israel.
Well, that makes
open.
it even
It's
worse.
on TV. Right.
I mean, that just makes it so much worse that they're openly celebrating the genocide, that they're not trying to hide it, and everybody sees it. And now on top of that, we were going to try to execute, sounds like a mass starvation plan with this UNRWA termination. Do you think that's the goal? What's the point of doing that?
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's no question about it. I mean, it's just, it's consistent with everything else they've done. They've greatly reduced, the amount of humanitarian supplies, which were already limited, which were already less than, what was sufficient, even before October 7th. And they've just systematically destroyed the hospitals. So UNRWA's next. It's just like, of course, why do they want UNRWA to stand? It's just the one institution that's keeping them alive. They methodically destroyed all the other institutions that supported life in Gaza. So why not destroy UNRWA? That just seems like the obvious next step, and that's what they've done. That's what they're doing now.
It's just so crazy.
They had launched many attacks against, UNRWA personnel. I think at least a couple hundred UNRWA personnel had been killed by Israeli forces, and many UNRWA buildings and vehicles have been destroyed. So it's not like they had been sparing them, but now they're just going to finish the job.
Well, if they try to finish the job, as you say, this will give a real sense of urgency, I believe, to the axis of resistance to Iran and to Hezbollah, that they might have to, they'll have to expedite this, or
it could be.
The thing is, I just don't understand. It's like, we've seen so many videos of children shredded, blown apart, and now we're going to probably start seeing videos and pictures of children starving to death. And it's just, I don't understand how we can just hide that. We can't hide it. And so it's just how we can just continue to go along with it and expect everything to be okay, and that everybody will respect the United States and respect our position in the world. They're clearly not. And to try to paint Iran as the bad guys, as we get involved in this conflict, the whole world is going to be against us. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Iran is going to, the United States, I think, is alone on this. We've seen it in these UN votes again and again. It's just the United States and maybe one or two small countries it's bribed, but it's really alone. I mean, we can't even count on our vassals. And this will probably mean that these vassal states that we were talking about at the beginning, like Germany and whatever, they will be overthrown. We'll see changes in all these other countries, and then the United States will be done. I would say the empire will be done, which is a good thing. I guess that's just the way it has to happen, that we have wedded ourselves to something that is truly evil, and we are just letting it destroy the empire, which I guess is a good thing, that it's destroying the empire. It's just so horrific that we are going to be tainted with a genocide. That is going to be written into the annals of American history, is that we were complicit in this genocide. And it's just, it's such a terrible, horrible thing to have as part of your history as an American. I think every American should feel ashamed and horrified by this prospect. I mean, I think it's even because we know, you know, deep down inside, either you refuse to look into it deeply enough to understand, and you just convince yourself and lie to yourself that, oh yeah, they're just somehow all terrorists and bad guys. And you play these mental gymnastics, but it's there. It's not like it's hiding. It's when we talk about the Nazis in World War II, obviously horrible, terrible, but it's not like everybody in Berlin was aware of what was happening in these concentration camps. It was, for the most part, hidden within the elites. It's not something that was being celebrated amongst the German population. But here it's just, we can see it. It's the 21st century. People have smartphones. We can watch it. We see the video of a teenager being burned alive in a hospital bed. Like, these things are going to haunt the American consciousness for forever, and I don't know what point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating, and it's
Right.
just
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of people, and what you say is true, but there are a lot of people. I still am amazed by how many people, how many intelligent, otherwise well-informed people are not aware of what's going on. Because if you stay within the mainstream bubble, it's not happening. There's no genocide. It's just like it's a very unfortunate war. Israel's doing what it can to reduce civilian casualties, but the evil Hamas are constantly using the poor, innocent Palestinians as human shields, and so on and so forth. And there are a lot of people, within the West who actually believe that. But once you get out, especially in the younger generation, or even within the West, many people see through it. And then when you get outside of the West, by and large, people see through it. If you're not in one of those vassal states.
Do you think that Israel might just essentially kill everybody in Gaza? I mean, it seems like they're. I mean,
I think they're well on the way. I mean, I saw a figure.
Then he can't deny it,
right? A couple months ago that I think maybe predicted, or even it may have been just like an estimate of how many have been killed already. But it was like 25% of the population had been killed or soon would be killed. Again, that's considering all the people that are under the rubble, the deaths that were reported, and then all the indirect deaths, which are always a greater number than the direct deaths, the people who die, from disease and so forth. So that was a quarter of the population. I think we could be very easily looking at least half the population, and it could be more.
Well, eventually that's going to come out, right? And then
I think all these people, right? I think it just cannot be hidden. So yeah, it is just it's going to be a black, shameful mark on the conscience of the West. On the
really
West,
America,
America in particular, but Britain and Germany also have been very active supporters of Israel.
Oh man, it's just I don't know.
You're finding some real resistance within France, and I think that interestingly is largely because of France's connection to Lebanon.
Right.
It's like when they went into Lebanon, there are a lot of French speakers in Lebanon, and so the French knew what's going on, and they have connections, and so they feel like they're this time it's their own interests, their own people to some extent that are being attacked. So you finally find, Macron, putting a little bit of muscle, behind his words against Israel now.
Yeah, it's just a weird feeling that, most of Americans, if you just watch our mainstream media and our elites, they just paint Iran as this, the head of the snake, the evil. And then, but when you just take a look at it, it's just like Iran is the one country that is trying to stop the genocide,
right?
Is saving it. And, they issued that statement as well for this attack. They said, we will lessen this attack, make it less severe if you get a ceasefire. We need to stop this. Right. That's what it is.
They were ready to call off the attack if there was a ceasefire. It's the same with Hezbollah. You have to admire these people. These are like one of the few countries and armies in the world that really live by moral principles. The Houthis, Hezbollah, Iran, and in general the axis of resistance. Yeah, I think you have to. My hats off to them. These are brave, principled people.
I mean, it just when you look at the situation, when you learn about it, study, just us talking about it, it's not even. People like to say things are complicated or it's nuanced. This isn't complicated. Yeah. Right. It's clear. It's clear that the people that are trying to prevent the genocide are the good guys. The people that are committing the genocide and are complicit in abetting the genocide are clearly the bad guys. And it's just I don't know. There's maybe some sort of cognitive dissonance in many of the people because it's hard being part of a country, being an American, and realizing that, hey, we are truly the bad guys, that this isn't a black and white thing, a complicated thing. And these people that we're painting out to be the enemy these are the people that have the moral high ground.
Right.
that are honorable, that care about about saving the sanctity of human life, is what we are painting as a terrorist, that we want to go to war and attack them. And there's a possibility that the United States will get dragged into a war with Iran, who is the moral figure here,
Right.
and that we will be told to fight this moral figure, the one that's trying to prevent a genocide, to allow Israel to continue its genocide. That's
Right.
what we're fighting for. We're
Right.
fighting for the right for Israel to commit genocide, and
Exactly.
it's just a horrific situation.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah, no, you're not exaggerating. It is. And that's why, to complete the circle, that's why I cannot vote for either candidate tomorrow. That's the reason. I understand the lesser of two evils argument, but I don't want to have anything to do with those people and with this genocide.
It's true. We can argue about all types of social issues or whatever, but this is just wrong. What's happening? It's just evil, and it's so insane, so frustrating that we are so complicit in something that is so obviously evil, that's so apparent to me, and it's clearly becoming apparent to the rest of the world. And it's just something I hope people wake up and we see the light, and we don't.
Some people are.
Yeah, they are. Well, okay, we'll end it there before I get too worked up.